Welcome to this video about the command line. This particular video is specific to the Windows operating system. So the command line, which I'll write here, used to be the only way to talk to the computer. Until the mid-80s, when the Macintosh computer came out, there was no desktop, there was no mouse. You couldn't just double-click something to open it. You had to open a window and just type in text to get the computer to do what you wanted. Well, it turns out that although most normal people now use their desktop windowing environment, that computer scientists and other technology workers find that there are many things that are still done more easily and quickly on the command line, and some things you can only do on the command line. So it's worth knowing how to use it. And thus we're going to use it in this intro class in a very limited way. So in this video, we're going to see a small amount of commands that will allow you to get around in the command line successfully, and then from there you can build on other commands as you need them. The commands that we're going to learn today are all abbreviated, and if you watch the Mac video, the ones that I was showing in the Mac video are Unix commands. These ones are DOS commands. You may have seen DOS before in documentation, and I should remember what D means, but I'm honestly just can't remember what it means. I'll put it in the notes for the video. That part is not important. Okay, the important parts are, what commands do you use in order to move around on the computer? Here is one that is universal between Unix and Windows, and that is CD to change directory. So I'm going to write this here, and then I'll write what it means. Change directory. Let's see. We will use dir to list the contents of the directory. And boy, you know, I usually do pwd in Unix, and I'm trying to remember if there's an equivalent in DOS. I don't know, but usually the prompt in DOS is so big that I think it won't matter. Okay, so we'll start with these two. First of all, how do I get to the command line to type these commands anyway? Well, over here on the left you can see I've installed JEdit, and I have a folder on my desktop for my CSI 110 stuff. Down here in the Start menu, I can type CMD in this box to bring up my command prompt. And here it is. This over here, this whole bunch of words is where you are. It's your current working directory. So I'm in the C drive, I'm inside the users folder, I'm inside my account. If you are on one of our virtual machines in the computer science department, this would look familiar to you. Yours may say something different. It's okay, but it probably does start with the C drive. If I wanted to list the contents of my C drive, I could type dir. And that gives me a list. Move this so you can see my abbreviations up top. Okay, so now that I'm here, I would like to go into my CSI 110 folder, which is on my desktop. And so from my directory listing, I can see that my desktop is listed. It's inside my users folder. So I can type cd space, and then I'm going to start typing capital DES, but at this point, I'm going to make my life easy and hit the tab key. Windows will complete my thought. It looks for something that would match and matches it and puts it onto your command prompt. Then I'll hit enter. My prompt updates to show me that I've moved into the desktop folder. Isn't this magical? Most people don't know how to do this. dir to list the contents of the directory. Now I have fewer things, and they should be very similar to the things I see, when I'm looking at the desktop. At this point, I see only CSI 110 and jedit.lmk. The other two are hidden. So CSI 110 is my folder, so I'm going to change directory into there. Folder and directory are two names for the same thing. Again, start typing, then hit tab. It will complete for you. dir to the contents of that. So I've set up my CSI 110 folder to have a few folders in it: labs, notes, and projects. And I'm going to go into the notes folder by typing cd space and notes. Hit enter. Now say that I list this and I see that I have a test.java file in here. And I realized that I really meant to be in another folder. So if I want to go out a folder that is up to, say, back to the CSI 110 folder, then the way to do that on the command prompt is to say cd space dot dot. Dot dot always takes you to your parent folder. So there we are. Now I'm back. Now this is worth noting, and if you're taking notes on this, which I hope you are, some special CDs, so cd dot dot, you can, so that will go back one directory, or folder, fancy word for folder. If you want to go back two directories, you can string them together using slash, cd space dot dot slash dot dot. So this is another thing. Windows uses the backslash, Unix uses the forward slash. So the backslash on Windows is just above the enter key. You can find it by looking on the keyboard just above the enter key. So this would go back two directories. Okay, let's try it out in the command prompt. Okay, so I'm in CSI 110. If I go out two directories, I will pop back to desktop and back to my users folder, right? That's what I'm assuming is going to happen. cd space dot dot slash dot dot. And that's exactly what did happen. I'm back into my Valerie Green folder. Now, just the same way that I can chain together multiple dot dots, I can chain together arbitrary paths. So if I know that I want to go right back into my CSI 110 folder, I don't have to type them in separate CDs. I can say cd space desktop, hit tab, slash cs, hit tab, and now I can hit enter and I'm back in my CSI 110 folder. Now let me do what I did before, which is to go into the notes folder, and then I've decided that I didn't want to go into the notes folder. I wanted to go into the labs folder. So if I know that the labs folder is one folder back in CSI 110, I can say cd space dot dot slash to get me back one folder, then I can go into labs. Actually, all I have to do is type L, hit tab, and Windows is smart enough to figure out the labs part. So with these two commands, cd and dir, you should be able to climb around in your folder structure. When we start building files, you'll learn how to use the javac and java commands to run your programs from the command line.